Hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another math video, you amazing math rock stars. Today, like right now, like while you're watching, what we're going to talk about is comparing and ordering integers, exponents, square roots, absolute value, and we're adding in percents. So got a couple videos on all that stuff I just mentioned with the exception of percents. I got an independent one on integers. There's some on irrational numbers. There's some on rational numbers. There's some on all the real numbers. All the videos are out there. Go take a look. But right now, this is what we're focusing on. Starting to thinking about how do you fix a broken pumpkin? Oh, that's simple. You go to a pumpkin patch. Sometimes you fix things by patching them up. It's a pumpkin patch. It's a pumpkin commercial. Let's go. Okay, this video should be nice and brief, so let me get going and knock it off with all the hilarious jokes. Okay, we're going to focus on exactly what I just told you. We're going to be comparing, which means deciding which one's bigger or smaller. And we're going to be ordering, which means putting them in order from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. And the types of numbers we're dealing with are integers, exponents, square roots, absolute value, and percents. It's just a valuable tool. It's called math sense, number sense. It's called all the things you want to do to just be able to manipulate numbers to work for you. Okay, let's get right after it, right? Let's talk about this one. Let's look at 23 over 100, and then let's look at 23%. Now, remember, when you're thinking about stuff like this, the easiest way to compare integers, or to compare numbers, is if you turn them into integers, if possible. And so later on when you get to irrational numbers, and even when you get into fractions and decimals, it's hard, you can't deal with integers. But right now, we can deal with integers if possible. So let's turn both of these into integers if possible. Or let's turn them into something that they both have in common, which either turn them both into percents or turn them both into fractions. That's kind of the key. So if you remember in percents, so another percent video out there, if you remember in percents, the way the percent is something out of 100. So anytime there's something out of 100, we know that it's a percent. And look at here, we absolutely have something out of 100, which means there are 23 out of 100. So anything out of 100 is automatically a percent. So this side represents 23%, and that looks familiar. I've seen that. I've seen it right here. So we have 23% and 23%, which is bigger. You just said the same thing. I did. So they must be equal. Well done. Let's go to the next one. Nice, these 23s again. Okay, well, we got 23% and we have 23. Okay, so an understanding of math will tell you, an understanding of percents will tell you that that is, anytime you see a percent, it is simply 23 out of 100. So we're turning it into a regular fraction. And anytime you have a regular fraction, you are saying that here is 0 on a number line and here is 1. So a regular fraction, which means the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Okay, so let's just look at that fraction real quick, and let's say it was something out of 100 and it was 100 out of 100. Where would that be? 100 out of 100 is 1, right? That's a whole. So that would be right there. And then if we had 0 out of that 100, where would that go? Well, that represents 0. That would go right there. Okay, so 23 out of 100 is going to go somewhere in between 0 and 1. Every regular fraction goes somewhere between 0 and 1. When you get improper fraction and mixed numbers, different ballgame. But regular fraction is going to be somewhere in between 0 and 1. And since it's 23 out of 100, this would be 50 out of 100. So 23 out of 100 is going to be somewhere around here. Where would 23 be? Yeah, you guessed it. 23 is going to be way down this line all the way when I get to number 23. So what's bigger, 23 or something between 0 and 1? Yeah, there you go. Play with the numbers, manipulate them into a way that they make sense to you. All right, so now we're going to look at this and try to put these numbers in descending order. Okay, so let's turn them into something that we like, something that we understand, something that's easy to deal with. And then let's just use our math common sense or our math understanding to kind of figure out where some of these will go. So the first thing we want to do is simply turn all of these into something that we can deal with. All right, so first thing, 3 over 3 to the third. That represents the base is 3, and the exponent's telling us we need 3 of them. Okay, and 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 equals 27. So this number, 3 to the third, equals 27. The next one is an absolute value question. Absolute value, all we do is change the wording. Absolute value means How far away is the number in the middle from 0? So how far away is 15 from 0? 15 is 15 away from 0. Oh, another absolute value right after it. How far away is 14 from 0? Well, it is 14 away from 0. But we have this sign in the outside of it that says, what is the opposite of the absolute value of 14? So the opposite of the absolute value of 14 is negative 14. Okay, so that one turns out to be negative 14. Okay, now we got a square root symbol. What does square root mean? It means something inside of it. The number inside has to be the result of a number multiplied by itself. Well, what do you know about your multiplication facts? What times what equals 64? Okay, and so hopefully you know this, or you can start counting by your single digits to get to that point and realize that 8 times 8 equals 64. So the square root of 64 is equal to 8. We don't have to do anything to this one. This one is negative 9. Just leave them alone. Okay, and then finally we got this one, 95%. Okay, 95%. So it's important that you just don't act like it's 95 and put it on that number line where 95 is, because that percent sign's there. So what does percent mean? It's something out of 100. So let's just go ahead and take that 95 and put it over 100. And remember what I just, well, we'll get to that. Remember what I just said in a second. All right, so now let's put those on the number line, because it just makes our life a little easier when we're trying to put them in order when we see them on a number line. So let's start with the first one. Where would 27 go? Okay, 27 would go way out here because my number line only goes to 16. Okay, and so, but remember, when you're trying to do this and you have a problem that asks you to put numbers in order, they don't want you to put these numbers that I did in red over there. They want your original numbers over there. So 3 to the third equals 27. So I'm going to go all the way out here wherever 27 was, and I'm going to write 3 to the third. Okay. The next one says it's 15, but that is the absolute value of 15. So I find where 15 is. I go from 0 and go positive until I hit 15. 15 is directly between 14 and 16. So this would be the absolute value of 15. The next one is the absolute value of negative 4, or the opposite of the absolute value of 14. Well, that would go to negative 14, and negative goes to the left of 0. So I go over to where that is. Here's negative 14, and I go up here and I put the opposite of the absolute value of 14. Fine. Next one, the square root of 64 is 8. Where is 8? Well, we start at 0, and we go 2, 4, 6, 8. So this would be the square root of 64. The next one is negative 9. Just find negative 9 and put that in there. So 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. So this would be negative 9. It's directly between negative 8 and negative 9. All right, and the last one, remember what I told you. Fractions that are regular fractions are always going to be between 0 and 1. And this 95 out of 100 would mean it's real close to 100 out of 100, so it's real close to 1. So I'm going to go up here and say, well, this is where 1 is, so it's just going to be just inside of that, and that's going to be 95%. Okay, now we have everything we need to solve this. We just got to now answer the question, because we're not done. All we did was put them on a number line, remember. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to give myself a little space so I can write down these answers. Okay, and I don't want to erase anything on accident that I just wrote. So I am going to, now I got some space. All right, now what does the question ask us? Place the following in descending order, descending, downhill. So we're going to go from the biggest number to the smallest number, okay? What's the biggest number? Well, that's way out here. So we're going to say 3 to the third. What's next? Going in a descending order, going downhill. Well, we have the absolute value of 15. Then we have, so we got that one, we got that one. Then we have the square root of 64. Then we have 95%. Then we have negative 9. Do you see how I'm just continuously going down this hill, reading these numbers off as I get to them? And finally, we have the opposite of the absolute value of 14. And just must make sure we got all our numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you have it. Put them in a number, put them in a form that makes sense to you. Remember to just not leave percents alone. Turn them into their fractions so that you can find out where they are on the number line. And then once you're there, really pay attention. And I mean really pay attention to a very important word. And that word is descending or ascending. So many times kids do all this work and then they put it in the wrong order because they don't pay attention to what order the question asks. All right. I believe you guys are ready to rock and roll. So I just want you to make sure you understand. Put them in numbers that make sense. Let's put them in order. Let's pay attention to the question. Let's just dominate our understanding of this. Do you guys have, I have been pondering this all day. Do you have any idea of what type of sandals frogs wear? Oh yeah, they would wear open-toed. Toad, T-O-A-D, like a toad. Ribbit, ribbit. Open-toed sandals for a frog. Let's go! That is just good. I don't care. Open-toed sandals. It's gross, but also funny. Later.